Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, August 5th. Today we will see winds increase significantly across Nevada into western Utah as a trough of low pressure moves into northern California. Winds have already started increasing over the Sierra Front and western areas of Nevada with gusts in the 20s this morning, and we will see those wind gusts increase over the widespread area with gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour and locally higher gusts. Also, we are seeing a few thunderstorms this morning already across Idaho, and we will see that lightning increase and be a mix of wet and dry with these storms moving fairly quickly. We have seen rainfall in much of Idaho recently, so fuel moistures are quite a bit higher than what we have been seeing. However, we certainly could get some new starts from this lightning, especially up over parts of the Payette. As we move into Friday, thunderstorm chances continue across parts of Idaho and the wind threat moves over central and eastern areas. Many of these areas have seen recent heavy precipitation, so we do not have any high risk for parts of Utah on Friday, but again, it will be dry and windy, which may dry out some of the fuels. We also could see some holdovers with this wind over the next couple of days. No significant impacts on Saturday as winds will decrease significantly. We will continue to have smoke impacts at times over western Nevada up into Idaho, downwind of our fires to our west, and again that will continue also at the 6,000 foot level. Over the last 24 hours, we saw scattered thunderstorms over northeast Nevada into southwest and western Idaho. These thunderstorms were a mix generally on the drier side, but there were a couple spots that could have seen some heavier precipitation, but most areas reported less than a tenth of an inch of precipitation. So again, as these winds increase, we could see holdovers in some of these areas as well. We did have a new large fire up across southern Idaho yesterday, otherwise just a few small fires reported. Over the last 7 days, we've seen significant precipitation over nearly all of the eastern two-thirds of the Great Basin, and over the last 2 weeks, you can see how well this precipitation was above normal. Some of the drier spots still are parts of Wyoming, also parts of central Idaho, and then also over western and northwest Nevada. Currently, our ERCs are certainly low across most of the region with the recent moisture, but are still on the higher side again across parts of the Payette, above the 80th percentile, and over parts of western and northwest Nevada. Also, ERCs have been rising recently over Idaho into northern Nevada, but with some of the thunderstorms moving through, we may see some of these decline again before we see drier weather move in through the weekend into early next week. ERCs up across parts of the Payette, again, they did decrease but have increased fairly quickly and are near normal. Over parts of western Nevada, we did not see quite as much decline in the ERCs, which is similar to northwest Nevada, and still remain above normal. Looking at our satellite picture from this morning, you can see the trough of low pressure moving into northern California, which is what will be responsible for our increase in winds and very dry conditions, and this will push east across the Great Basin. Also northeast of this low is where we'll see those thunderstorms, and already are seeing them up across Idaho. Looking at the weather pattern for later today, again that moisture in place across Idaho with drier and windy conditions further south. So we do have high risk mainly for the winds and dry conditions where they correspond with our driest fuels along the Sierra Front and up into northern Nevada. Further east, we will see those gusty winds over the rest of Nevada into western Utah, but again, fuels are not as critical, but we certainly could see some holdovers. We also have a high risk for lightning in just the area of Idaho that's on the dry side up in the Payette, but again, we could see some starts in other areas as well. You can see the thunderstorm picture on the left. Could see some isolated thunderstorms again down into northeast Nevada, but it's more of a windy conditions down in the south, and then those scattered thunderstorms up across Idaho into Wyoming. The wind picture on the right shows the strongest winds today will be located over eastern Nevada, where those gusts will exceed 40 miles per hour, but again, still gusts in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range, and also some gusts increasing above 40 miles per hour along the Sierra Front. Relative humidity will drop into the single digits this morning and this afternoon, especially across Nevada and be in the teens elsewhere across Utah. We will see those higher humidities with those thunderstorms up across Idaho today. Moving into Friday, that trough swings through the Great Basin and pushes into the eastern portion of the region. We don't have any high risk as those winds will be located across Utah and areas that fuels are not as critical. You can see the thunderstorm picture on Friday. Thunderstorms again impacting Idaho. These might be on the wetter side, and we will also see gusty winds in Idaho, but again higher humidity with that moisture, but still breezy winds, so we could see some holdovers. Also holdovers obviously possible in Utah where those winds are strongest and also drier. Relative humidity down into the single digits to low teens across much of Nevada and Utah, and still remaining higher across Idaho, again with a little bit wetter variety of thunderstorms. As we move into Saturday, we see dry air move into all areas of the Great Basin. We will see our western areas dry out a little bit quicker than areas further east, but you can see all areas are certainly seeing a drying trend going into the weekend. Relative humidities in the single digits to teens across Nevada and Utah, and again still remaining higher for another day up across Idaho, with a significant decrease in winds on Saturday. We'll still see some zephyr winds, our typical zephyr winds along the Sierra front. Forecast amounts of precipitation with those thunderstorms in Idaho are shown here. Again, you can see some areas will see some wetting rains up over central and eastern Idaho into Wyoming, but again, some of the drier spots, southern Idaho and also parts of west central Idaho. As we move into Sunday, we see dry air move across the Great Basin. Another trough moves into Montana, so we will see winds fairly breezy across the Great Basin, but wind gusts mostly around 25 or 30 miles per hour, maybe a little bit higher. So again, nothing as strong as what we'll see today, but certainly breezy and dry on Sunday. Going into Monday, those winds decrease a little bit, but still that drier southwest flow, and we can see our significant fire potential areas continue to dry out gradually going into early next week. By Tuesday, we could see a few isolated thunderstorms move north into the Arizona Strip, and also continuing on Wednesday, but right now that surge of moisture does not look to occur through the middle of the week, with mostly drier conditions across the Great Basin. 7-day total precip, not much different than the 3-day, again with that precipitation with thunderstorms today and tomorrow up north. And then again, we could see a few spotty areas of precip towards next week as moisture starts to return, but it looks like right now most of that moisture will stay south. The 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from August 12th through the 18th, shows warmer and drier conditions for the Great Basin, but we'll continue to watch those pulses of the monsoon. It will push moisture at times into southern areas of the Great Basin especially, but it doesn't look like right now going into the third week in August we'll see any of those returns of monsoon moisture to Idaho or western or northern Nevada, similar to what we saw recently. We likely won't see anything like that going into the middle of the month, with the monsoon mainly remaining further to the south. So we will see a little bit more prolonged drying, especially over the northern half of the Great Basin. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.